Here we are, back to more Aesop's Fables. This one is The Kid and the Wolf. A kid is a young goat. There was once a very active kid who would leave the other goats in the farmyard below and climb onto the steep roof of the farmhouse. "Look at me, mother," he would call down. "You're afraid to come up here where I am." The other goats paid very little attention to the boasting kid, but one day a wolf passed by the farmhouse. He gave one look at the kid on the rooftop and would have passed by, since it was easy to see that here was one dinner that was safe out of his reach. But the kid jeered and bleated, "Why don't you come up here and catch me, coward?" The wolf stopped and looked up again and called back, "It is not you. It is not you who call me coward, but the place on which you are standing. If you must revile your neighbor, make certain first that he cannot reach you." That's weird. Okay. The Porcupine and the Snakes. These are old classics, and some of them are a lot kind of strange. The Porcupine had selected a comfortable cave for his home, only to find it already occupied by a family of snakes. "Would it be agreeable if I used one corner of your cave to spend the winter?" he asked. The snakes very generously offered to share their home with the Porcupine, and he moved in, curled up in a ball, stuck out all his prickly quills, and settled down for the winter. It was not long, however, before the snakes realized that they had made a mistake, for every time one of them moved, he would prick himself on one of the visitors' quills. After bearing this discomfiture for a time, the snakes got up their courage to complain to the Porcupine. "It's just too bad," said their guest. "I am most comfortable here, but if you snakes aren't satisfied, why don't you move out?" And he curled up once more and resumed his nap. It is safer to know one's guest before offering hospitality. The falconer and the partridge. A falconer is one who actually trains falcons that are hunting birds. They're raptors, and so a falconer is one who trains them and hunts with them. A falconer discovered that he had captured a partridge in his net. The bird cried out piteously when he approached. "Please, Mr. Falconer, let me go. If you will set me free, I promise you that I will decoy other partridges into your net." "No," replied the falconer, "I might have set you free, but one who is ready to betray his innocent friends to save his own miserable life deserves, if possible, worse than death. Treachery is the basest crime of all." The creaking wheel. Slowly and ponderously over the dusty road, a yoke of oxen were hauling a heavily laden wagon. Each time the wheels turned on their axles, they set up a tremendous creaking. Driven almost frantic by the ear-piercing noise, the driver cried, "Wagon, why do you make all this clamor and complaint when they who are drawing all the weight are silent? He who groans loudest is often the least hurt." That's pretty perceptive. Here's the last one. This is Jupiter, Neptune, Minerva, and Momus. Those are the names of some of the Roman gods. In ancient times, when the world was young, Jupiter, Neptune, and Minerva used to spend a great deal of time disputing as to which could make the most perfect thing. So it was decided that they would have a contest with Momus. At that time, he had not yet been turned out of Olympus, to decide which creation had the greatest merit. Jupiter made a man, Neptune made a bull, Minerva made a house. Then Judge Momus came to judge the contest. He began by finding fault with Neptune's bull because his horns were not below his eyes, so that he could see when he gored with them. Next, he found fault with the man because there was no window in his breast in order that all might see his inward thoughts and feelings. And lastly, he found fault with the house because it had no wheels to enable its inhabitants to move away from bad neighbors. Jupiter, incensed, means he was really angry, incensed with the carping critic who could not be pleased, forthwith drove the fault-finding judge out of the home of the gods. It is time to criticize the works of others when you have done some good thing yourself. Well, there you go. There were 5 stories from Aesop's Fables. We're moving along quite well. Bye.